Hey guys! Happy New Year! Welcome back to another episode of Sip with Joy. I got the sparkles on for y'all. Happy New Year! Okay. Hey Jess Lee, hey Alien. She said it's about time. Let's get into it. Hey. Yes, we start at 7. I guess that screen popped up there earlier because I wanted to make sure I was ready today, y'all. Okay. So come on in. I'm so glad to see you guys again, even though I can't really see you. But welcome. Hello, LB81. Thank you so much. Got my sparkles going on for New Year's, the new year. Hey, LC. I don't know if I missed your birthday yet, but if not, I know it's coming up. Shout out to my Capricorns out there. Y'all, my birthday is on Saturday. I think it's Saturday, January 14th. So I got my champagne, popping champagne today. So happy New Year again, everybody. Welcome back to Sip with Joy. Let me take an actual sip. Welcome back to Sip with Joy, a show about a girl, her wine, and her feelings. And I am that girl. I am your host, Joy M. Hutton, and I am a serial entrepreneur and lover of food and wine. So I'm glad to be back with you guys. I know that it seemed like a long hiatus. It seemed like a long one for me too. But yeah, I needed a break. I got to take breaks in between these seasons, guys, so that I can come back whole and energized and all that good stuff. So I am here and I'm so glad. So we are going to get into it. I'm drinking a Brut champagne today. This is compliments of my girl Lizzle. And Lizzle is Lydia, for those of you who don't know. That's my BFF. So she got this for me for Christmas. So I'll tell you guys more about that. She loves her champagne and her Prosecco. So she gonna force it on me too. But hey Talisa. Oh yeah, on the 15th. Okay, so a day after me. Yes. Shout out to my Capricorns again. All right, so yes guys, we're gonna get into it because I know y'all been waiting for me to come back. And I've been waiting to come back too. So today's topic is things will never be the same. All right, now I want to talk about change. And a lot of people are making or have made New Year's resolutions. I don't really make New Year's resolutions. I try to set goals throughout the year. But, no problem if you set New Year's resolutions. And, but yeah, you got the whole new year, new me, out with the old, in with the new, all that stuff. So we're going to talk about change today. And speaking of change, I'm making some changes with Sip with Joy. We're gonna have guests this season, guys. So we're supposed to have a guest today, but they couldn't make it. So we're gonna have that guest next week. So I'm switching it up for you all. Now every week we won't have a guest because I gotta have my personal time with you all. So we will have guests though. So look out for that. I'm excited. Been troubleshooting some things in the background to make sure we don't have a whole bunch of technical glitches. Shout out to my mama, who's my guinea pig all the time. And yeah, so we're gonna have guests. So Elsie said, I want to come with you on your next birthday trip. Or she said our next birthday trip. Yes, listen, I had a time. Me and Robin, we still trying to recover from being in Dubai. It was an amazing time. So thank you so much. All right. So yeah, we're gonna talk about change, guys. So sometimes change is viewed as a negative thing. And I know for me, look, for my Capricorns in the room, y'all know we don't really like change too much. We are creatures of habit and we like things going a certain way. And we don't really like deviating from the path too much. But I am evolving. I have changed for the better, and I learned to be more spontaneous and know that things are not going to always go my way, even though most of the times they do, but sometimes they don't. So we have to be flexible. So sometimes people view change as a negative thing. Like, when people say you've changed, and I'm like, dang, why does that have to be a bad thing? So, and I think it's oftentimes because it's associated with discomfort and the fear of the unknown. And again, being a Capricorn, I don't like surprises. I need to know what's going to happen next. Like, don't surprise me, okay? Let me know, drop some hints along the way so I'm not just out here looking crazy, all right? But embracing change can lead to maybe some self-discovery, growth, we like the G word, and identifying who, what, and where you want to be in life. So I'm with change, okay? And, sometimes it can be seen as a negative thing. So I think, it's time to just shift our mindset when it comes to change, especially when it comes to breaking free from things and people that no longer serve you or fit your life. And you don't want to have to explain yourself to people either, because people want explanations. Well, why are you acting this way? Or maybe they think you acting funny, but is it really me acting funny, or is it me setting boundaries? Because that's the other part of it as well. So I'm going to tell you guys a story, in terms of like why this topic is so important to me. And, the last 5 years honestly have been transformational, transitional, all the things, everything that falls under the category of change. And I lost a lot of friends during this period. Well, you know what? I won't say lost. I shed, because lost implies that I want them to be found. And not necessarily. Sometimes you just got to leave people where they are. But I've had to shed some people in my life. LC said, as the saying goes, instead of holding on to the past, we should view it as something good and new. Exactly. Hi, Ray. Thank you. Y'all see my sparkles. Hey, Tiffany. Happy New Year. So, a lot of times people want to see and know a certain version of you, and they want to keep you where they're comfortable keeping you. If you've ever like gotten a job promotion, or if you've done something big, if you've gotten married, whatever the case may be, people like to remind you of when they knew you when, and it's like, I'm not that person anymore. I have evolved. I've grown. And if you're still in the same place that you were, however many years ago, then that's a problem. I want to improve this version of myself. I know, like, for me, like, when I went through my divorce, and when you go through any traumatic event, people always say you really see who your friends are when you're going through a time of duress. And it's true, because you get to see how people respond to you. But one of the things that I've learned is, I can't make my problems somebody else's problems. And even though I want them to understand what I'm going through, some people are just simply not capable, and we can't expect how we would react to people. We can't expect that. So we have to not always take things personally and see it as that's them and not necessarily you. So when I went through my divorce, I had married friends that didn't want to hang out with me anymore, because I'm the single woman in the room, around their husbands, and I'm like, I don't want y'all dusty ass husbands, okay, I shouldn't say dusty ass husbands, but I didn't want their husbands, y'all. Okay, I'm like, these are my friends, like, so we can't hang out anymore. Okay, that's fine. And then, hey, mommy, hey, Robin. Oh, you like my sparkles? Oh, y'all like the sparkles. And I love just how the light is just making it sparkle even more. Okay, so it's, new year, new sparkles. New year, new outfit. So, I know, Tiffany, that was wrong. Not Dusty, right? But I was isolated and from friend groups, because I was newly single. And then when I would go out, people would be like, oh, you look like you living your best life. And I'm sitting up here like, am I really? I just went through a 2.5 year divorce, and do I look like I'm living my best life? Well, maybe I did look like I was, but deep down inside, I was struggling, and it's like, how am I supposed to look? I guess people expect you to come outside looking like a crackhead, but that's just not my style. I'm gonna go home and roll on the floor at home and, be comfortable with who I am and share my woes with that person. But it's just when people say that, it's very passive aggressive. Like, oh, you living your best life. Listen, you could leave your husband too if you miserable. Like, I'm not, don't put that on me. So it was just really interesting how people reacted to me. And then fast forward to 2020, for those of you who do not know, if you're new joining Sip with Joy, I was on a reality show, and it was a dating show. So you're living your dating life publicly. But at the same time, during that show, when I was filming, I lost my sister. So it was two things happening at once. And you're in the pandemic, so you're already isolated from people in the first place. So going through a pandemic, being on a reality show, then coming out of that reality show in the real world and having to deal with a family tragedy. So what happened during that time, it was I isolated myself. And I isolated myself not because I was on the show, but because I lost my sister. And how people reacted to me during that time was very interesting, because it was kind of like, oh, she's changed because she went on that show. No, sorry to break the news to you, but I was somebody before I went on that show. Okay? But outside of that, I had to live something very tragic out in the public eye. And I just could not be out. Like, being out was a trigger for me. And so imagine being out and being triggered by your grief, but also being out and people are pulling at you because, they saw you on the show. That's a lot. And y'all know I'm an introvert, and it's already overstimulated for me to be out anyway. So being an introvert, coming out of a pandemic, I'm already on 10 with the anxiety, okay? Like, oh God, being around people again with their germs and all that, and not being around all these people, and then coming out of this, and people are like, oh my God, Joy. And that's great. I love y'all. But it was a lot for me. And it was a lot for Gigi too, huh? So, but it was a lot for me. And then on top of that, like, it could be music. It could be something somebody said that was a trigger for me. So, I mean, y'all, when I talk about overstimulated, so it was interesting for me when people were internalizing my isolation and projecting their feelings onto me. And so, like I was saying earlier, you can't, a lot of times we take things personally, but a lot of times it's that person internalizing whatever it is onto you. Maybe it's a fear of losing you as a friend, but it wasn't because of the show. It was because I lost my sister. So when I hear people, oh, you changed, oh girl, you Hollywood. No, I was Hollywood before. So like I said, it's just interesting how people's perceptions of you are developed when you go through certain things. Let's see. So let me go back to some of these comments. So Tiffany said, I went through a lot, a loss as well. It was time to make the scale balance and focus on my life. Absolutely. LC said, I have a friend who still looks at me like when we first met in college, like he is shocked I have grown in 25 years. And it's like, right, where are you in your life? Have you not grown? Because that's a problem. Tiffany said, never let them see you sweat. Right, girl, I can't be out here looking crazy. Y'all ain't gonna see me looking crazy. Now, if you catch me during the day, during the week, I don't know, I might be out here at the gas station looking crazy. But Robin said, people want you to be miserable like them instead of celebrating and empowering each other. Absolutely. Yes. So, yeah, and triggers are a real thing. So, it's, y'all, so when I encounter that, it's just a lot for me, because I tell people, I'm like, I had built a whole personal and professional brand before I went on the show. I had name recognition before I went on the show. I tell people, you can Google me, that's fine. But it's just how people project their insecurities onto you, and it's like, that's on you, boo. But it took me some time before I got to a place where I no longer internalize that, because it is an isolating place to be in. And even though I isolated myself, people isolated me as well because they thought I changed. And I'm like, y'all do realize I'm dealing with a whole life tragedy here, but people didn't see that. And I even had people text me about the show instead of saying something to me about my sister, and I was like, wow, this is crazy, you know. And then it's like, so you mad I don't talk to you anymore? Oh, okay. So yeah, y'all, this is why I do this, because it's therapeutic for me too, because I could just share my real life experiences with you all. Okay. Yeah, out of nowhere something will bring out a memory. Exactly. So yeah, I talked about, you know, and then sometimes people just simply don't understand what you are going through, you know. And I had to understand that as well. Like, a lot of people don't know how to deal with you going through a bad situation, and sometimes that's due to them not knowing how to process their own feelings. You know, they are dealing with their own stuff, and they're ignoring it, they're sweeping it under the rug. So how can they deal with your stuff? And like I said earlier, we can't expect people to make our problems their problems, because that's a level of codependency that's also not healthy. So you want to make sure, like, yes, I understand you, I want to be there for you, but not make them feel like it's obligatory, you know. Like, you know, like they say, check on your friends, but don't take on all of it, you know, because that's not healthy for you either. Because it's like, how can you show up for yourself if you just showing up for everybody, right? So yeah. Okay. So I tell people, yes, I did change, but it's because of the things that I have been through and that have made me who I am today. So Joy 2.0, my eyes are wide open. You know, it's a different space that I'm in now, and I don't have any regrets about, you know, the relationships that I've lost or shed along the way, because the people that are supposed to be in your life are going to be in your life regardless of them seeing you change. Because some people should see the positive side of change, not the negative, or people should see the positive side of change, not always the negative side of change. And there are both. There are both. So, you know, like I said, Joy 2.0, my eyes are wide open. And, you know, honestly, I wondered why I tolerated certain behavior from people in the past, but not no more, y'all. And like I said before, I had to also be okay with people not accepting me for who and where I am right now. And, you know, either people are going to evolve with you, or you leave them where they are and accept them for who they are. You got to put people in boxes. You know, it's like, okay, you know, we were once this, whatever, but this is where we are today. And that's okay. But I'm not looking back. I'm looking forward. And, you know, that's just what it is. Mom said people are very self-absorbed these days. Absolutely. Tiffany said that is so selfish. Oh, people are very selfish these days. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so what does change look like? So if you all do not follow Dr. Nedra Glover Tawwab on Instagram, she is amazing. She's a relationship therapist, and I love her Instagram. But anyway, so she has a few tips, because y'all know I love me some tips. All right, so she said change looks like being assertive in situations where you previously would have been silent. Like, we got to speak up. You know, we have to speak up and not let people just walk all over us. You know, if you're not okay with a situation, say something. And it may not be in the moment, but come back around to it and let that person know how you really feel. Next, ask for what you want and don't feel bad about it. We got to stop apologizing for feeling how we feel. We just got to stop apologizing. Set boundaries. This has been huge for me, you know, to protect my peace of mind, to protect just my soul, my heart. Like, setting boundaries is so key. And then allow yourself to feel without labeling your feelings good or bad, because that right there just puts you in a certain space to where you're explaining yourself to people about how you feel. So you don't want to do that. And then this one I learned from my sister is to be unapologetic. Okay? One thing about my sister Gianna, she was very unapologetic about how she moves. She'll cut you off. I didn't always agree with how she was cutting people off, but she will cut you off in a heartbeat and have no explanation. Be very unapologetic, cuss you out, and then move on. But that was her way. That was the Aquarius in her. But that's what she did, and I have learned so much through her. I don't be cutting people off like that. I'm more forgiving, but I have learned to set more boundaries and protect my peace at all costs. All right. So LB81 said, I thought I would never find love again, so I was closed off, but now I'm open to love. Change. Absolutely. God, yes. We got to open ourselves up out here. All right. So my what the sip is about Chloe Bailey, a prime example of change. So when she turned 21, she popped out. I mean, I was like, woo! I didn't know she had all that in her, had all this body. And she just popped out, and she got criticized for being her. I mean, she's a grown woman now. Now, some people may say she's doing the most. That's everybody's opinion. But we tear people down so easily, and she's trying to find herself. And why is that a problem to everybody else? And, again, people projecting onto this woman how they think she should be, comparing her to Beyonce, saying she shouldn't do this with her hair, her body, she's doing too much, she's trying to be Beyonce. No, she's trying to be Chloe, but if she is trying to be Beyonce, we all look up to somebody. So what? Let the woman be who she wants to be, so again, she wasn't who everybody who everyone was used to seeing her be, and that was an adjustment for the public. But she's moving in her space. She's moving unapologetic as who she is. But I'm sure what people are saying in the public affects her, and just like anybody else. I mean, she's human. So let that woman be who she is. If she's trying to find herself, let her find herself. All right. Let's see. LC said, maybe I have been a bad bitch, but I have been cutting people out for a while and saying no a lot. And that is okay. You're setting boundaries. And that's the thing. Like, we have to be okay with the decisions that we make. No turning back. Like, if you made that decision to protect your peace and it's not good for you anymore, or that those people are not good for you anymore, then that's what you gotta do, boo. All right, so that's Chloe Bailey. All right, so let me pause, take a breath, because that was a lot, y'all. That was a lot. So if anybody wants to call in, you know the number, or maybe you don't, but it's 713-396-0277. And technology is still defying me, but we're going to work it out and do it the old-fashioned way. So if you want to call, 713-396-0277. And I don't think I had any questions on Instagram. But, yeah, if you all have questions, drop in the chat and I'll answer them. But, yeah, guys, so if we don't have any questions today or nobody wants to call in, I'm so glad to be back. Clearly, I had a lot to get off my chest. But as you go into this year, reflect on what has or has not worked in the past and release who and what is no longer working for you. So next week, guys, we're going to have a guest. Hopefully things align. Things did not align this week for our guest. So we're going to have our guest here next week. And I can't wait because we're going to be talking about black men and mental health. So you wanna come back for this conversation, okay? Oh, I miss you too, LC. So listen, here's to being a bad bitch in 2023 and being unapologetically you. And yeah, I'm just glad to be back, y'all. So I love y'all, and thanks for rocking with me for another season. And let's get into it. All right, I'll see y'all next week.